in the interest of time. The second question says, are you changing compensation plans for new hires to reflect compensation wage pressures? And I'm just going to change that question around to say, to you, Sally, and to the rest of the panel, would you recommend changing compensation plans for new hires? That's the first question, the first part of the question. The second one deals with, how are you dealing with raises and bonuses for non-sales people in light of the financial impact of COVID? You know, I think that's similar. You know, should we, are we, and should we do that? And then lastly, any new retention compensation strategies outside of salary that have been successful? And oh, by the way, I have a panel up here, but if anybody wants to share this, I shared these questions with you in advance of this meeting. If you've got something for us, please share it. That's the whole idea of these breakout sessions, is we have great people with great companies here. Please let us know, but I'll turn those three questions kind of into my compressed area over to you folks.
I'll start with the first one. In terms of compensation for new hires, I think it's really prudent to always be in touch with what is the market paying. And my advice is the market's paying what you're seeing when resumes come through your door, when you're interviewing candidates, what they're asking for. That to me is the real labor force that we're trying to hire today, so pay attention to that. And I just think we've got to respond, right? If wages are going up, if consistently you're seeing that, you know, somebody is making X amount above what your normal hiring range is, I think we've got to respond in order to be competitive. And then to your point, Cynthia, we've got to then look at it internally. So I'll start with the first part of that question.
Thanks, Tom. Kevin?
I think it'd be interesting to change maybe the way we have a conversation about compensation, because typically in our industry, you know, if you're a sales rep, your salary is X and you can make Y, and it's uncapped earnings, and we talk about a lot of that. I think what's changed now is the way people are approaching it, particularly in the sales standpoint, is looking at what am I on target earnings, because that's what the tech industry is talking about. If we instead had a conversation around what are your on target earnings, and meaning at a quota, what would you expect to make, and they'll tell you what they're hearing from other places, and then you can adjust. The tech industry tends to be a little bit higher on the salary and lower in commission. Ultimately, everybody's trying to get to whatever that number is. How you slice it doesn't matter. And there was a question earlier about, well, what do you do with, I brought a new hire in, and you're always more valuable as a free agent, right? What do? You just brought this high-priced free agent. What about the person who's been there killing it for 10 years? Well, if you're having an on-target earnings conversation, you can say to your person who's been there, I know they have a higher salary, but I'm going to pay them less on what they sell to help them get to their number. You chose to get paid more on what you sell and ultimately have an opportunity to make more. But if you really drive that conversation around what are your on-target earnings as opposed to what's the salary, what's the bonus look like, it changes the conversation, and it again starts that piece of let's talk about what's important to you. And you may hear that the number's not that big, you just got to show them a path to get there. And instead of making it a $30,000 salary or $40,000 salary, maybe we got to pay them 60 or 65, but we're going to pay them way less than that's what they need to be there.
I'm going to build off that offer piece. I am a really big believer that offers are not just about compensation, you guys. So if you think about during the interview process, you've learned, here's what's really important to this candidate, right? Here's why they're considering leaving their company, here's why they want to come and work for us. Just like in sales, when you're going to close a deal, use that information in the offer stage to say, okay, by coming to work at my company, you're going to get X, Y, and Z that you said was really important. Spend time talking in that offer about the culture, right? Throughout their learning about your culture, and then, oh, by the way, here's the compensation. So the offer isn't just about compensation. The offer really is about, here's the total package that you're going to get by working with my company. What we find is that once compensation is in alignment and the job is something they want to do, the biggest differentiator is really, who am I going to get to work with on a day-to-day basis, and what is the culture that I get to join? So make sure you're leveraging that.
Well, I'm a salesperson at heart, and if I was going to go work at the dealership, I would say, barely pay me any salary, let me make it on commission. And when I go by a hair salon like I go to, and then like the discount is for the new people to come in to get their hair done, I never understood that. What about me? I'm a loyal customer. So maybe it would be interesting, because I can only look at what I would be interested in, is if you say to them, if you want to lower your salary, we can up your commission. That's what sales executives, when I'm training them, I go, why did you come to this dealership? And they say, because I can make more commission. I think a real go-getter, that's where they should be looking for it, not just more salary.